That video included AI-generated content that we couldn't have pulled off by ourselves. Those scenes pull the narrative together in a way that traditional methods simply can't match. What would have taken months of production took mere hours with a generative tool. It shows the power we can unlock by augmenting our soldiers with cutting-edge tools like AI. Capabilities like AI amplify how the moment we face right now, here in 2025, is an inflection point. Technology is rapidly, fundamentally changing our world. Our adversaries are harnessing it to change the very nature of warfare. We must change or become obsolete. For our Army to meet this moment, every single person, especially those at this conference, must be able to answer yes to one very simple question. Am I focusing my energy and effort so that soldiers are ready to fight and win our nation's wars? Because every minute we don't, we place soldiers' lives at risk. Our actions today decide the very fate of our future Army. Since February, Chief and I have been laser focused on making sure every effort in our Army leads to a better killing machine. Every breath, every keystroke should help soldiers win. And every day we need maximum effort to support our soldiers because what we accomplish today gives them advantages in the future. The Chief and I recognize that we can't lead by simply sitting through performative meetings in the Pentagon. We need to get out of the building, spend time with soldiers, and engage with them to get the actual ground truth. So in the last 8 months, we visited bases across the world, installations across the nation, and allies across the continents. We visited soldiers in 23 states and 10 countries. We visited bases, Army arsenals, and private companies. And we have seen in person what actually drives success and what drives failure. I came away with 3 facts. Number 1, our bureaucratic inefficiencies enable our adversaries, and our adversaries are ruthless and relentless. Number 2, soldiers are our greatest asset, and they alone are the reason we are still the most powerful Army in the world. Number 3, they simply cannot do it alone. No one can predict the next war, but we cannot wait. We cannot fucking wait to innovate until Americans are dying on the battlefield. We must act now to enable our soldiers. Our window to change is right now, and we have a plan to do it. We will set the pace of innovation, and we will win with silicon and software, and not our soldiers' blood and bodies. I want to talk directly to soldiers this morning. At conferences like this, we tend to talk over, past, or around you, but you are the very reason we are here today. We literally don't have an Army without our soldiers. We are nothing without you, and you need to be a part of this. So, to our soldiers, you have been let down. You have been fighting, deploying, training, and preparing for years, and you've always had each other's backs. But unfortunately, your civilian leadership hasn't always done the same for you. We let you down because we didn't place you first. The system, the bureaucracy, and the prioritization placed you last for decades. That stops now. Everything we're doing is to empower you, make you more lethal, and give you the tools to dominate battlefields and win wars. But changing the system requires breaking free from mediocrity. No longer will the Army simply manage risk so we don't fail. Taking the safe option, suppressing innovators, giving into bureaucracy accomplishes nothing. But for 30 years, we maintained the status quo. No existential threat forced us to change, and our incentive structure has warped. Special interests and lobbyists have taken advantage of our system. Since the end of the Cold War, our system's priorities shifted from combat effectiveness to jobs and profits. And I'll just be blunt here. The definition of success became taking no risks, doing absolutely nothing, and just not getting fired. To be fair, it's a rational reaction to a broken system. But we sank billions into Crusader, Comanche, and Booker, programs the Army knew from the very beginning weren't right. These were all unequivocal failures that eroded Congress's and the public's trust in Army acquisitions. Meanwhile, the commercial sector transformed the world. AI, robotics, ubiquitous computing, but our soldiers are still stuck fighting with systems conceived in the 1980s. When I was in Iraq in 2009, the gap between military and commercial technology was stunning. Returning to the Army 15 years later, I am absolutely enraged to report that the gap has grown to a deep chasm, and our soldiers have to cross that chasm every single day. I want everyone in this room to put themselves in soldiers' shoes for just 1 minute. At home, your fingertips command artificial intelligence, instantly exchange data worldwide, and your vehicle self-drives you to work. You live in a vibrant, ever-changing technological world that actually enables your day-to-day life. Then, once you arrive at work, you exist in an organization that has been conditioned to expect technological failure. Sadly, that is a fair response considering what we have provided to our soldiers for decades. Over a career in the Army, you literally spend months of your life waiting on Army systems to work. Then, when you train, you step into the same platforms that we fielded 30 and 40 years ago, like the Humvee. You struggle to communicate beyond line of sight, and you wonder why the hell you just can't use the smartphone in your pocket. Before and after work, our soldiers live in the real world. But while they're on duty, they time travel to the early 2000s at best. Or earlier. Look at this picture behind me. No, really look at it. Check out that closest soldier in the picture. That's Specialist Gail Valera, who was born in 2004. The system he's working on was originally fielded in 1995, 9 years before he was born, and it still runs on its original programming code. Meanwhile, Ukraine is updating its drone software every couple of weeks. It is absolutely unconscionable that we would send soldiers to war with 30-year-old obsolete systems. This is the inflection point where we turn it all around. Soldiers are energized. American companies want to partner with us. The President and Secretary of War are giving us unprecedented top cover. The future is right now. That is why we launched Continuous Transformation in May, to get rid of what we don't need, cut the bloat, and buy soldiers what they actually need. That reoriented us on what matters most, enabling soldiers. That first step built momentum. Now we need to make it foundational. Sweeping change sometimes starts with small, seemingly esoteric wins, like a well-placed rock triggering a landslide. Acquisitions reform, how we do business, how we move money, is our rock that will create a cascading defense renaissance. I used to be in the Army, became a lawyer, worked in investment banking, venture capital, and now I'm back in the Army. I did a full circle. After seeing the power of combining venture capital money and mentorship with startup culture, I can say unequivocally that the Silicon Valley approach is absolutely ideal for the Army. So last month, we launched Fuse, the Army's new cradle-to-grave capital funding model. It will identify promising startups, quickly fund them, and get minimally viable products to soldiers in weeks. Fuse, like VC firms, will be successful because we will work with agile, innovative, hungry startups that live on the very edge of innovation. We aligned $750 million to this model, and it will increase to $765 million next year. That's over 150% increase in the Army's funding toward emerging tech and innovation. And the very first Fuse competition starts right here at AUSA. It is called X Tech Disrupt, powered by Y Combinator. Like Shark Tank, contestants will make a product pitch for $500,000, then sprint for 30 days to launch their breakthrough tech. Then they will take it to the field and iterate with soldiers for another month to improve their product. Our goal under Fuse is to contract with startups that have never, ever worked with the United States Army before in just 60 to 70 days. For companies we have worked with that have prototype level entries, we want to contract in 10 and start soldier iterations in 30 to 45 days. We train like we fight. Acquisition should be no different. We wouldn't take 10 to 12 months to sign a contract while in a fight, so we will train our system to move fast. And soon, Ukraine won't be the only Silicon Valley of warfare. Fuse finds and grows capabilities and then feeds them into our broader acquisition system. That's where our next reform lies. Organizational acquisition reform. We are changing the way we buy military equipment. Traditionally, program executive officers manage a group of Army acquisitions programs that deliver capabilities to soldiers. For decades, our PEOs trudged through a process-oriented acquisition cycle that was really good at slow, expensive, and suboptimal outcomes. Process-oriented systems are overcomplicated, overregulated, and overdue for reform. In the private sector, process-oriented systems are a thing of the past because they simply can't keep pace with change. The traditional 12 to 18-month contracting cycle is just no longer feasible. Tech advancement moves too fast for multi-year acquisitions. America is not the global leader in tech innovation because of bureaus, boards, and bureaucrats. So, in just a matter of weeks, we will announce changes to how we buy military equipment. We are going to completely disrupt the system that has held back the Army for decades and lined the prime's pockets for so long. Our acquisitions enterprise is more complicated than it should be, and that's getting in the way of empowering soldiers. So we will combine it all under a single organization that reports directly to senior Army leadership. We want fast and efficient. We want to get soldiers the tools they need now, not a decade in the future. We will break down barriers until we measure acquisitions, not in years and billions, but in months and thousands. Why does this actually matter for soldiers? Because we will keep cutting red tape until the capabilities you use at work are equal or better than the ones you use at home. But these reforms aren't just buying smarter, it's also building smarter. And it's repairing what we already have. Right now, our Army is a terrible customer. We sign away our right to repair, we pay unbelievable cost markups, and can wait years for parts we could 3D print ourselves immediately. This may sound trivial, but simply being able to make or repair our own parts can save millions of dollars and save lives, and ensure that million-dollar pieces of equipment, like Blackhawks, don't sit idle waiting for parts. This is the fin for a Blackhawk's external fuel tank. They are built cheap, so they break often. The vendor charges over $14,000 for a replacement. Our team can do it better. They 3D scanned the part, reverse engineered it, printed prototypes, and conducted structural validation in only 43 days. The part I'm holding is their floor prototype. Now we can manufacture this part for just over $3,000. Ours is 300% stronger and 78% cheaper. And we can ramp up supply in less than 6 days. Now, let me show you another example. This screen control knob lets Blackhawk pilots scroll through aircraft data. It is really small, so you probably have a hard time seeing it. We break around 4 of these every single month. When this little tiny thing breaks, the whole aircraft is grounded. The vendor won't produce replacements. So instead, we have to turn in this entire screen assembly and pay $47,000 for a replacement. $47,000 to replace this assembly when we can make this knob for 15 bucks. That is a 313,000% markup, and we're spending around $188,000 every month for what we could solve for $60. Now multiply this across thousands of components, and you see why our $185 billion budget simply doesn't buy enough combat power. And in some cases, the parts take literally years to arrive. For our soldiers, this is why your tank, howitzer, or vehicle sits in the motor pool and you can't use it to train for combat. And if right to repair is bad in garrison, it will be so much worse in contested Indo-Pacific logistics. That's why we're accelerating advanced manufacturing across the entire Army and leveraging partners who want to help our soldiers. Once we have the schematics, private industry can help surge production if demand surpasses what the Army can produce itself. For certain parts, soldiers will be able to download the schematics, manufacture it, and install it all in the field. This is about more than money. This is an issue that is undermining our national security. It is imperative that we have a right to repair. And we need modular, open architecture systems where repairs are as easy as printing a part or buying one off the shelf. Drones are the perfect example of this. If small arms define the 20th century, drones will define the 21st. They are the perfect convergence of artificial intelligence, advanced materials, batteries and propulsion systems, sensor fusion, and much more. They are reshaping how humans inflict violence on each other at a pace never witnessed in human history. They are cheap, modular, precise, multi-role, and scalable. And we will rapidly integrate them into our formations like they have at the 101st Airborne Division Air Assault. The 101st built the $750 aerial battlefield enabler drone you see behind me. They are modular, you can swap components, make software updates, transition between attack, recon, or defense. Trained soldiers can assemble it in 20 minutes and then deliver it to the front lines. 100% soldier assembled, open architecture software, and they are ready to integrate fiber optics and AI. The best part is that they are doing everything organically on Fort Campbell with the intent to deploy it forward. That's scalable. That's open architecture. That's being on the right end of the cost curve, and that is the future of warfare. For soldiers, we want to push this tech to your formation so that you can employ it, improve it, and absolutely dominate with it. Across the Army, we will equip soldiers with these kind of expendable drones that deliver devastating effects at a massive discount. I cannot overstate the impact drones will have on warfare and homeland defense. They will absolutely dominate warfare in the 21st century. Just look at the exponential increase in the use of drones in Ukraine in just 3 years. Their use in Operation Spider's Web shows that drones are the very definition of an asymmetric capability. And it shows that they are a critical threat to our homeland. Defending our soldiers and our homeland against drone threats is a top priority for the United States Army. We are leading the entire United States government to tackle this challenge. I am proud the Secretary of War designated the Army to lead JIATF 401, our nation's premier counter-drone task force. We will work with federal, state, and local law enforcement so we can protect homes, communities, stadiums, and national assets. JIATF 401 will be the joint force model for defeating asymmetric threats and partnering across government and industry. It will demonstrate the convergence of FUSE and our Army's culture of innovation. And it will fundamentally change how our Army, the Department of War, and the interagency address modern, evolving threats. We will show results in a matter of months, not years or decades. For our soldiers, That means we will protect you as you dominate the battlefield, and we will protect your loved ones at home. We will lead the way to protect warfighters and our communities at home and abroad. 3 enduring factors will determine whether we succeed into the future: agile funding, private partnerships, and soldiers. Agile funding means consolidating line items and funding mission areas so we can shift money to what matters. Imagine if a company had to lock in its budget for the next 5 years with limited flexibility. Company leadership couldn't move money between payroll, recruiting, product development, marketing, and so on, no matter how market forces fluctuated. Inflexible funding would take away their decision-making ability to do what is right for the company and actually stay in business. But that's exactly how the Army budget works. Locked into thousands of separate line items, set years in advance with little flexibility. The worst part is who benefits from this corrupted system. Lobbyists line their pockets while soldiers are left waiting for critical capabilities. Defense lobbyists in suits hold more budget power than soldiers in uniforms. For fiscal year 26, we asked for agile funding in only 3 high-risk areas: electronic warfare, UAS, and counter-UAS. Less than 1% of the budget. Do you know what happened? We got more oversight instead. We are asking for flexible funding on 1% of the budget so we can prove that this is the right thing for the Army. Oversight is constitutional. It is the right thing to do. But so is enabling soldiers. We need both. Because for soldiers, this simple ask translates to life or death on the battlefield. Private partnerships are the next linchpin. We have gotten this wrong for decades. We have been a poor partner to private industry, and that is going to change. Last month, we brought over 15 CEOs representing around $15 trillion in market value to the Pentagon for an AI war game. Their innovation, their willingness to serve was inspiring. Drones, contested logistics, 3D printing, artificial intelligence, we covered it all. And we discussed these problems with some of the most innovative minds of our time. You know what the greatest output was? Partnership. Relationships, building trust, and we are actually acting on the things we talked about. Fuse and acquisitions reform are a step in the right direction, but they are symbiotic with the private sector. So, we are deliberately tapping into America's talent by building relationships with private industry and private equity. We are moving fast, we are in it for the long run, and the AI war game was just the beginning. Here at AUSA, Secretary of the Treasury, Besson, and I will meet with industry partners to augment Army resources through private investment. And tomorrow at the Installation Resilience Warrior Corner, Secretary of Energy Wright and I will make a game-changing announcement. We will bring nuclear power onto Army bases, collaborate with the private sector, and provide innovative energy solutions. We are partnering with the private sector in everything from weapon systems to facilities and actually taking care of our soldiers. Because soldiers are our third linchpin. We have to take care of them. So we are fixing the basics of food and billeting. Our dining system is absolutely broken. It is a poster child not only for corrupted systems, but poor quality and unhealthy food. You can trace it back to factors like the 1936 Randolph-Shepard Act that gives blind vendors priority for food service operations on federal installations. Over time, companies manipulated the law, prioritized profit, and absolutely cornered the United States Army. They found that they could place companies under irrevocable trusts in blind family members' names so they could falsely enjoy Randolph-Shepard preferences. It keeps us from using vendors that provide the services that soldiers actually want. The result? A dining experiences that soldiers hate. We are going to break through this barrier. We are piloting 5 campus-style facilities that are open 24/7, offer multiple vendors, healthy food, and CAC swipe convenience. Construction is another corrupted system. We have been paying 68% premiums simply to build on our own basis. That is 68% higher than just on the other side of our own fence line. So we are finding innovative construction methods instead, like 3D printing concrete structures to reduce costs and deliver facilities faster. Our soldiers endure too much hardship to be shortchanged. We must honor the courageous, selfless decision to answer our nation's call. And they are answering it in record numbers. We met our 2025 recruiting goal in just 7 months. That's our best year in 13 years. And we already have 20,000 in the delayed entry program for 2026. The future of the Army is lining up. Americans are courageously stepping forward to serve, and our Army should reflect the greatness of that choice. For too long, we accepted mediocrity. For too long, we maintained the status quo. Now, we stand at an inflection point. Make the future or react to it. For 250 years, our Army prevailed. From Bunker Hill to Bull Run, the Bulge to Baghdad and beyond, our Army fights, our Army wins. The next 250 years are ours to forge, and we will. We will continuously transform how we fight, how we build, and how we care for our soldiers. We will break the barriers of bureaucracy, inefficiency, and complacency. We will ensure that America's Army remains the most lethal fighting force in the world, and it starts by placing our soldiers first. This will defend.